Welcome to this episode of Why is My Business Such High Intensity Torment? Have you ever had an idea for a business or wanted to extend the range of services that your current business offers? Our guest today has. More details next. Welcome, Suzanne Diprose.
Thank you, Graham.
You run Performance Advantage HR. But before we get into that, I'd like to learn a few personal details from you. For example, where do you run your business from?
We run the business out of Sassafras in the Dandenong Ranges, but I have to say we are probably very rarely here all day. We're usually out and about.
Okay.
On client locations.
Do you have any pets?
I do have pets. The husband's not one of them, no. I've got 2 dogs and 2 Scotch collies. One's a black lassie dog looking boy, and the other one is a short-haired Scotch collie, so it looks like a Scotch collie in its underwear.
Okay.
Yes, it's an odd dog.
An odd dog.
What
about hobbies? What do you do when you're not at work? I mean, other than drink.
Other than drink. Oh, Graham, you've let that one out a bit early in the seams. What do I do? My husband and I both play music, so there's a lot of going to perform or practicing, etc., or sometimes songwriting or recording, etc., or sometimes songwriting itself. So that keeps us fairly occupied, I would say. And I've just picked up today, as a matter of fact, a bag of sheep's fleece. I'm going to take up my spinning of yarn again. And if you tell anybody about this, Graham, I'll have to come after you.
Well, I happen to know that we only have one subscriber, and that's me, so I won't tell a soul.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Performance Advantage HR. How long have you been running?
Since 2020, I've been doing HR services in small businesses. I had a business partner for quite some years, and we separated amicably in 2007. And since then, I've been running Performance Advantage. Beforehand, it just had a slightly different name. But yeah, so virtually, if you like, since 2000.
And what's the core business there at Performance Advantage?
Core business is HR services for small businesses, and the HR also includes occupational health and safety as well. And we deliver that on site and remote, so it's if you like, a blended package. And we are their plug-in HR department.
I understand you do things like instructional videos and things like that.
We do that. We've just done one on job scorecards and just done explaining what they are, so that in the client companies where we work, that the team leaders, etc., can all understand what they are and why you would use them, the key components of them, because they'll have one for themselves, but they'll also be involved with me in creating them for their team.
In your client businesses, could you pick a problem that you see quite often?
I would say not defining a job role very well, and not defining the key expectations. And so that has multiple effects. That has effects that, the team leader, for instance, or the head honcho is looking at their team and thinking, they're not really performing well. And and how can they if they don't exactly know what they're meant to be doing? and if the clear standards haven't been defined. And this is what job scorecards actually are all about. And I think for the employee themselves, they also come to work thinking, oh, I've got to do something. I'm not quite sure what, and apply themselves potentially to things that they could be applying themselves very well, but maybe to the wrong thing. And job scorecards also prioritise, and that actually helps people realise, oh, hang on, I better look at the top three things I'm meant to be, accountable for, if you like. But I think that lack of accountability, even that word, for a lot of people is, oh, there's a new concept. And I think a employer might well just think, oh, that person knows what to do. And, if they've got a job title, surely it includes blah, blah, blah. And they expect that person to actually unpack what's in their head. So not having those structured things like a job scorecard, or you can have a position description as well, but a position description explains the activities, not necessarily what you want to have as a result. So that's why I really, I suppose, refer back to job scorecards a lot, because in the end, the result is what makes the money in a business, if you like. And quite often, along with those accountabilities is expectations of behaviours. So, and we capture all of those in an employee handbook. And some of that is simple things like, showing up on time to work. That'll be nice, and letting people know if you're sick, or what is sick leave for, or if it's actually called personal leave. And then maybe, even explaining what carers leave is. So explaining all those expectations and, if you like, obligations of an employer, and also the expectations then for the employee, and outlining that really makes it very clear about when people aren't going so well and aren't following that, because it's detailed, and the person would have that access or receive a copy of the employee handbook and in induction. So that's a critical thing. And when you don't have those, then you've got people walking off the path a lot, and then you've got the employer who quite often doesn't mention it, just quietly seethes underneath their breath while they watch this person do goodness knows what, and why are they doing it? And then all of a sudden, you've got some sort of escalation, explosion, and a lot of this could be averted in the first place. Yeah. So I think, the lack of that sort of foundational HR structures can lead, to lack of productivity. And sometimes I'll watch employees have quite a bit of tolerance and almost like pain capacity to absorb it, where I just think, oh, hang on here, if you'd done this beforehand and paid a little bit of money to have it, and you either pay for money for someone like myself to do it, or you do it yourself. Half your luck if you want to do it yourself, but it will take you time. So it's an investment either which way. And I know from our perspective, we do this every day, so we're fairly quick at doing it, and pretty sort of cost effective in doing it. But that then gives the business managers, owners, CEOs, whatever you want to call them, that they will then have some of the tools they need to control HR, to control performance. And control is not a bad word, because control really means managing it.
Yes, exactly. And judging by the businesses that I've worked with in the past, I think that those services are required more often than not.
Yeah.
And so in amongst all of that, you saw an opportunity to launch performance labour hire. Is that sort of like an adjunct to this
very much
Performance
very
Advantage?
Much. Yeah, very much. Because we've Performance Advantage has got a suite of clients where we do their HR on a regular basis. Plug in HR department. We're probably there once a fortnight. Sometimes someone's there on site 3 days a week, or I might be there an afternoon and a morning a week, or whatever. But what we found from these clients is that they quite often had a need for additional arms and legs that they needed for different things at different times, and for just peaks and troughs that they might have. And I looked at what we could do to support them with that. And so last year we started looking at all of this, and it came together with a few, I suppose, ideas and threads. And so we put together performance labour hire to be able to provide the additional labour that is needed in different businesses right across Melbourne.
Okay, so so this labour hire business, I mean, you're already plugged into these businesses very intimately, if you like,
Yes.
from the HR point of view,
Mm.
and I would imagine that you would identify employees that perhaps are not suited to their roles.
We certainly do have that, and
Yeah.
and I mean, when you do have people who are not suited to their roles, it's a matter of consultation with them about that, and it might be because their performance is short; they don't necessarily have the skills, or maybe we're trying to train them and they just don't have the capacities to take on additional skills. So therefore, we would look at a alternative position for them. That's called redeployment, but that's not always possible. So sometimes we do have to sometimes say goodbye to people because in the end. If they don't suit the position in the business, well, then they probably are not going to be a good performer or a good investment for the business anyway, long term. So quite often I've had to help people move on to a different job, and that's all right as long as we can do that do it with dignity, do it over a period of time, do it correctly, and so that that person can actually go and shine, if you like, in a more suitable position for them. And if
Because
they perhaps don't fit there, I think sometimes on the inside they themselves know that, and are aware that
sometimes
there's a
it's a
gap.
relief.
Yeah, I'd say sometimes it's a relief for them. Yes,
And I
absolutely.
hadn't thought of that either. I looked at this and I thought, well, this is good. You can identify what's required in a business, and then you can go out and find the labour to fill those gaps. But on the other hand, you've got outgoing employees that need to be placed as well.
Yeah, correct. And I do have an additional service for what's called outplacement. So they can go to some classes and have some support. They can choose. There's a couple of different ways they can do this, but the employer pays for them to actually move on and have a review of where they're at and what skills they've got and where they would be more suited, and they get some support from that. And that's after they've left the job, and usually within a month, people are nicely employed somewhere else. At the moment, they'd certainly be nicely employed somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is the thing from the management point of view as well. It's traumatic to tell an employee that don't come Monday, and this makes the transition a lot more organised, a lot easier to handle. Um,
Also, what you're saying there is, like don't come Monday. If you don't do it properly, if you don't do it with some proper processes in place, you're going to leave yourself vulnerable to some fairly serious liabilities and claims that the person could make in, fair work claims, etc. And a lot of employers are very scared of doing that, so they are often just put up with the pain of having the wrong person in the wrong place or not reorganising it. They just don't know how. But
yeah.
it is possible to actually do it, really positively and really well.
So, setting up a new service like this is not going to be easy. What would you
No.
say was your the biggest hurdle to organising performance labour hire?
Yeah, well, first of all, Performance Labour Hire is an adjunct business, and Performance Advantage does all of the, if you like, permanent employment, and so the casual employment can be done through Performance Labour Hire. The challenges have been really about getting the right people, and then just making sure we've got all the systems. There's a whole lot of insurance and everything else like that that's got to be taken care of as well. And that's what we become the employer for the host employer, if you like, the client. So you've got everything to set up, and like you would in a regular business, that we've had to go through. But there's a whole lot of due diligence because labour hire is quite complex. So the lovely Bonnie, who is actually running the performance labour hire, has done a heck of a lot in terms of all the administration. And now we're at the stage. In fact, today is our first placement that's actually operating right now as we speak. So that's really great. And having all the models ready, all the contracts, everything else like that for everybody has been a process, really. Yeah. And even having all the database and the payroll systems and all those sorts of things, everything has had to be built, even though we're small today, but for tomorrow with the growth of where we're going. So any system that we put in place, can't be very, if you like, labour intensive, because
It has to be
as the numbers
scalable.
increase, it has to be scalable. Yes. So that, when you're starting off, that scalability, putting that into place straight away, takes a bit of work. Yeah. But anyway, we're there, we're running, and we've got clients and client, if you like, host employers, and we've got employees. Would you like to speak to Bonnie?
Well, I was going to ask you about Bonnie. Is Bonnie a good employee?
Bonnie's a great employee, and actually part of me even setting this up is because I thought she's very, and we have both actually got social welfare backgrounds, and we're both very interested in helping people get employment, and it was really about matching that up with the opportunities in the business world, if you like, commercial world. And helping people make that go over the stepping stones, if you like, to getting their career going, or have the work that they need, additional work. We've got like people who work part-time who just need a bit more work, or people who want to try out something and haven't had an opportunity to try out something. Some employers are just looking for 2 arms and 2 legs to move things around, or put on labels, or goodness knows what, and that helps. Even though you sort of think, oh, that's not much of a job, for some people it's just really a help in confidence and understanding that, hey, there is a place for me out in the world. These jobs are, I can go to work and I can do what is expected, and I can shine, and I can get paid for that. So yeah.
Yeah, I know people who have what you might regard as a mundane job, but they take pride in their work and they're proud to
Absolutely.
do it too. And we're not all brain surgeons, so we have to. Is Bonnie around? Can I see Bonnie?
Can I get Bonnie in? Yes, we certainly can. Bonnie will slip over here, and maybe I'll slip sideways. There you go, Bonnie. She's small, so you've got to be careful. See, I told you she's small. She's little.
Okay, Bonnie, how are you?
Come forward.
I'm choking now under the pressure.
Choking under the pressure. There's no pressure here.
I'm very well, Graham. How are you?
See, I don't have a drinking problem. You didn't see me coughing when I drank.
Well, Bonnie, you're going to have to give up the cigarettes, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Or the cigars. So, Bonnie, my question to you is, Suzanne Diprose, is she all right to work for?
Oh, she goes all right. No, Suzanne is a wonderful employer. I'm not just saying that because she's sitting next to me.
And I'm bigger than her.
I guess the 2 main things for me that Suzanne offers is opportunity for growth is a massive one. She's always looking
personal growth.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. So putting me through, she's putting me through a Certificate 4 in business, which will obviously help me within the business, but also just help set me up for life as well as I go into life, being 24 years old. and just different opportunities to grow. And then as well, I guess, is support. You know, she's always supportive and helping me with the business, or if I have any questions, anything like that. So, which
She,
I haven't had in an employer before, so it's very good.
that's a pretty glowing assessment. I mean, we want credibility on this program, so there must be something that Suzanne doesn't do, right?
Well, Graham, I'm very good at helping, in growth, personal growth, but I'm sorry, but not in hair growth. I just can't help it. You might have to see somebody else.
Yeah, I know. I know a panel beater that does a good cut and polish, so that's what I do. So, Bonnie, from your point of view, what have been the biggest problems that you've had to overcome, other than finding where sassafras is?
Cold toes.
Yeah. For me personally, it's probably it is a very tough time in the market at the moment to be starting up a labour hire business. There's obviously a lot of businesses out there that need employees, and there are a lot of employees looking for work, but actually matching them together is quite difficult at the moment, and finding the people that, really do want to work and get them into employment is pretty tough. And just starting up a business, I guess. For me, obviously, it's new, so that's, of course, got its challenges in it.
But a great experience, I would imagine.
Oh, 100%,
I mean,
especially at 24 years old. Like, so many people are astounded when I tell them that I'm 24 and I'm helping set up a new business. So it's pretty cool for me.
That's fantastic. Good to meet you, Bonnie, and we'll continue on with Suzanne. Thanks for that.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Right,
Suzanne. I didn't vocal push her or anything to say any of those things. No, there was no practice involved.
Well, I'll be contacting Bonnie quite separately from this interview to organise another interview whilst you're not there, and we'll get the real lowdown.
Yeah.
What about marketing? What sort of marketing strategies have you deployed?
The marketing that we're doing, and the marketing I've done for my business, basically, and now we have businesses, is using business networks, and very much I like to use those basically because I can manage them, if you like. However much I put in is how much I get back. I also want to have contacts and networks with quality people. And by meeting people, I'm not dealing with people blindly. I'm dealing with some really viable support services that I can use, and such as the videographer, or such as a business coach, such as yourself with the database development, etc. So that means I actually have opportunity to develop even different streams of business. So, we're creating induction videos as a joint venture. With another person, we're creating manual handling training programs, which is part of our OHS suite that we can provide. So, through Performance Advantage, these other additional joint ventures really mean that I can expand what I'm actually offering to clients, which is pretty useful. And, first aid training through another connection, etc. So all those things can happen through some business networking. We have websites, of course, and they've been created by, again, people who we know in the business networks. And I haven't done a heck of a lot with SEO, but we're about to open up a web shop, and that will have a whole lot of occupational health and safety and HR resources for sale. So I think we will have to touch into, go into the SEO area there, but it seems like a bit of a scary black box to me at the moment. We also do in-house social media. So we don't have a consultant who does that. We do that in-house ourselves. Bonnie's actually very good at creating some Canva tiles or whatever, the graphics.
Mm.
for them and getting those out. And I've got somebody else on the Performance Advantage site as side of business as well. So also too, we've done some seminars ourselves or information seminars. Those sorts of things I think are useful in terms of marketing and promotion. We have brochures, of course, all those sorts of things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Suzanne. I think that Performance Labour Hire is going to be a big success, as Performance Advantage has already.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think that your networks are amongst your strengths, as well as having Bonnie there to shoulder the load.
Yeah, the load.
And my final question to you is, that map in the background did you steal that from high school?
No, I didn't steal it. My twin sister at her school, they were just throwing them out. So all the old maps, and we thought it was a pity for them to just go in the bin. So she did purloin that some time ago. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
How long
From
ago?
sources unknown.
What's the date on the map?
The date on the map is 1964. So yes.
So that'll be a treasure.
Oh, it's just about antique, like you and I.
Oh, speak for yourself. I'm not antique.
Oh, I know
Okay.
your date of birth, mate. I know your date of birth.
Let me see. Where are we? Well, I think that that just about wraps it up. Thank you very much, Suzanne. My name is Graham Bosworth. I run Business Information Associates. We write custom software. And if you need some programming done, if you need HR services, then go to our website, www.whyismybusiness.com.au, or send me an email on the, where is it? There. Oh, you can see the emails on the screen. And that's about it for us. So I'll roll the credits, shall I, Suzanne?
Thank you very much. Thanks
See
for
you
the
next
opportunity.
time. No worries. Bye-bye.